soon there will be a special experiment in Switzerland where thousands of physicists from all over the world will try to reconstruct what happened immediately after the Big Bang through a very powerful particle accelerator. And they're saying it's the greatest scientific experiment in history. There was a big story about it in the weekend papers. The goal is to find the divine particle, the particle that gives the mass to all the other particles, and perhaps even discover new continents, new particles, new dimensions. What can you say about that as a Kabbalist? They'll only be more confused because our substance appears and develops. We discover further developments in it because our ego is developing. I can't give a lesson right now about perception of reality and how we affect reality with our very thoughts, how our thoughts change reality, but they will not discover the particle that created the universe, because that particle has no mass. It's not a substance. It's a spark. And around that spark, what grew was our ego. That's why our ego, clothing that spark and constantly increasing, this is what we see as the development of the universe for the past, say, 15 billion years. How did this universe develop for the past 15 billion years? Who's saying it's so? We're built in such a way that within us there's a sensation of time in our perception. So we're built by time, space, and motion. So that's how we perceive reality. Meaning today, when I watch the universe, it's as if I kind of approximate backwards, as if it's been around for 15 billion years, and 15 billion years ago there was a bang, and that's how all of matter spread. That's what I do in my imagination, my perception of reality. So it's not the real picture that's happening outside of us. It's just a picture that we depict within. And they can do whatever they want with acts and physics and so on. But they will not understand anything, because they have to connect it to the perception of reality. And in the perception of reality, they get to the end, to a state where they cannot penetrate further, because we have a problem of perception in our five senses. And they have to transcend the five senses, and this is what they can't do. Because here only Kabbalah teaches us how to develop the sixth sense in us and see a reality beyond time, space, and motion, a reality that isn't bounded by our five physical senses. Because if we're talking about what preceded, what came before, then I have to exit my five senses and see a reality seemingly outside of me, objectively. Not from the sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, or from instruments that I built, which only expand the range of my perception. I need to transcend myself altogether, to exit my body and see the universe and see everything that exists. I don't know what I'll see. And totally objectively, regardless of me. That's what Kabbalah enables you to do. It opens up the sixth sense to you. And that sixth sense is called the soul. Through the soul, if you begin to feel these forms, you discover substance, form clothed in substance, how it all develops, and it's entirely different from what they can discover. They just can't even touch it, because they're working in their five senses. That's the whole of physics. The wisdom of Kabbalah is the physics of the upper world, from which this energy and substance comes, and they're studying the physics of the lower world, our world. And they will not discover anything. They'll once again end up in a deadlock and will not know what's beyond, just like the rest of quantum physics in the end. They're approaching something and see that beyond it there is no perception. And from here on, there's an opening for the wisdom of Kabbalah.